This is Flawed Prime TV, and I love it. Monarch Legacy of Monsters is not a Godzilla TV show. It's a show that takes place in the Monsterverse that has a splash of Godzilla in it, but we follow a lot more human characters, and for what it's worth, they are pretty interesting, at least compared to the movies. For those of you hoping to see Godzilla in this show, you will be somewhat disappointed. He's only in it during a few scenes, but let me be clear, those few scenes are absolute set pieces that give us a new lease and a new view on the way humans look at the Titans in this world. This show takes place over the course of two different time periods. During the 1950s with the trio of Lee Shaw, Bill Randa, and Dr. Keiko, as they study the giant monsters that first walked the earth and their journey to prove their existence. Then in the other timeline, we have Kate, Kentaro, two people who realize they are half-siblings due to their father apparently having a second family. And also thrown into the mix is May, Kentaro's ex and Kate's potential girlfriend? And one, Lee Shaw, who is supposed to be 90 but looks 70. I want to point out how great the writing is in this show, how the slow reveals and the twists, we never really see them coming. They manage to balance out story structure along with certain elements that in most other shows would have been clumsily handled. But here, they're very well thought out. There's a mystery in the modern day story that asks the question, why is Kate and Kentaro's father trying to hunt down or follow Godzilla and the other Titans like him? It's not just to prevent another G-Day, but also maybe to protect humanity? Another great element of the story is how we get to see how everyday people would respond to Godzilla in the aftermath, how major cities implement early warning systems, refugee camps in the wake of San Francisco, and conspiracy theories who think it was all fake. On the other side of the story, in the 1950s, we have the founding of Monarch as an organization that will try to archive / study / potentially try to kill the Titans. One of my absolute favorite scenes in this entire series is when Godzilla is lured, I guess you could say, to Bikini Atoll. They're trying to nuke him, they're trying to kill him. He comes up, real close and, oh dude, watch this. I'm sorry if I'm a Godzilla fanboy, I just remember laughing my ass off when I saw that scene because he took a nuke to the face and said, what else? If anything, he had a good snack from it, at worst. In the 1950s, Monarch struggles to justify itself to a government more worried about the commies rather than global security to a threat that can potentially wipe out cities. During one excursion, early on, Dr. Keiko is lost in an expedition leaving her husband and son behind. Her son being the father of Kentaro and Kate. Thus, we come full circle in a rather complicated family affair. Monarch is a legacy of monsters, but who are the monsters? There are several elements in the show that work. The locations all look and feel amazing. This show feels like a globe-trotting experience. From the sun of the desert to the frigid Arctic to the jungles and everywhere in between, even the Monarch bases feel like an actual HQ the government would have. Even in the 1950s and 60s, they feel like legitimate and accurate period pieces that have their own temporal moments. Let's talk about monsters. There are very few, but they are used sparingly and in pivotal set pieces that warrant their presence. In particular, but in no order, the Golden Gate Bridge scene, Bikini Atoll nuking, Godzilla's return, the rush in the Arctic, and, among other things, the final battle, which I won't spoil, but let's just say you get a light dose of Godzilla here. Nothing too long, but something a TV show can warrant. The show also expands the concept of the Hollow Earth, an idea that was just introduced in the Monsterverse in Godzilla vs. Kong. We see and learn how the Hollow Earth works and its more chaotic effects on our characters. Again, try not to spoil too much. Speaking of which, every character here feels necessary, mostly. In the past, both Bill Randa and Dr. Keiko are well fleshed out scientists that see the beauty in these creatures. They don't see them as threats, they see them as something to learn and study. In the present, the siblings of Kate and Kentaro wrestle with their feelings for their father, a man who they both had complicated relationships with. Kate is also dealing with the PTSD of G-Day and the guilt of losing her girlfriend, while Kentaro struggles with the always complicated relationship that sons have with their fathers. I can attest to that. May is a character that initially I really liked, but her side story of an evil tech company just felt a little too draggy. Maybe that's just me. May is still a great character for sticking around, it's just I didn't really need to know about Apex, maybe, yet? I don't know. Monarch plays the middling role of good guys / bad guys / government boogie team that are trying to keep a lid on everything but constantly failing. And then there's Lee Shaw, played masterfully by Kurt Russell and his son Wyatt Russell, respectively, and damn, these two play the same character to perfection. Lee Shaw easily has the best storyline in the whole series, and it's not even close. This series has a long-winded mystery that is flawed. Personally, I do recommend go watch Matt Draper's video on the series. It's really good. I follow Matt Draper for a long time. He's great. I won't spoil the final episodes or twists on here, but I will say that there are multiple revelations in the final episodes that make the whole show worthwhile. This show is about family and how moments in time can tear them apart, moments of tragedy and heartbreak, how our parents' choices shape who we are before we're ever born. This show is amazing and a must-watch for any Godzilla fan. But it's also more of a general TV show that anyone could watch without the Monsterverse films. Easily an A, but I don't know if season 2 is on the way. There's potential for multiple sequels from multiple angles. Maybe a show about Monarch trying to contain all the Titans after King of the Monsters, or maybe even a show in the 1980s post Skull Island. We'll just have to wait and see. But until then, thank you for watching, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.